So guys, in today's video I'm going to be bringing you this super simple, really wearable daytime look. So if you want to see how I got this really easy look with this perfect, yes, I went as far as saying perfect winged liner, then make sure that you carry on watching. So to begin with, I'm just going to get all of my hair out of my face. So you guys know that this isn't my real hair. I did recently get a frontal by Crown Beauty 22, which I gave you the details for in my previous video. But if you want the details, then I'll make sure that they're down below in the description box for you as well. So I'm just brushing and tying my hair back, and then I'm grabbing this brow brush, which is by My Kit Co, and I'm just using that to brush through my brows just to make sure that there's nothing in them and that they're nice and fluffy. And then I'm grabbing this Zoeva Graphic Brows pencil in the shade Bistra. I already told you about this pencil, guys, but honestly, I cannot put it down. I don't know what's happening, but I'm obsessed with it, and you should be too. Honestly, please go and get it. It will change your life. So as you can see, I'm just carefully mapping out the shape of my eyebrows, just making sure that they are nice and arched. I like a really high defined arch, but at the same time, I also really like quite a thick brow. So that's what I'm doing, and I just do it bit by bit. You can see that I'm concentrating because my tongue's like half out. Let's ignore that. And you can see I'm just doing little hair strokes just to kind of fill in the brow and make sure that it looks as natural as possible. Then we're doing the exact same thing on the other side with the other brow, so I'm just going to speed this bit up because you don't need to see this bit in depth. I don't know why I've actually started including brows in my tutorials, but I just have at the moment, so enjoy that. I'm going to speed it up for you because you guys know the deal with brows. I really don't need to eat up all of this makeup tutorial time with eyebrows. And then to prime my skin, I'm taking this spray, which is my Emmeline spray. It's the spray that I'm prescribed by my doctor because of my allergy to water. And then I'm also priming my skin with this The Ordinary high spreadability fluid primer. I'm not sure why, but I don't have allergic reactions just from wearing makeup throughout the day. Obviously, I don't wear makeup regularly because my skin is so sensitive, but on the days that I do choose to do a makeup look, I'm not affected until it comes to washing it off. So I am lucky in that sense. And then to conceal, I'm taking this MAC Cosmetics 24-hour Studio Fix Concealer. I use the shade NC38, and this is a very good concealer. I rate this concealer a lot. Only thing is that it's really thick and it dries down quite quickly, so you have to work quite fast. But I've applied it to my lid, and I'm coming in with this Zoeva 144 just to kind of like spread it out, carve out my eyebrows, and just make sure that it's nice and set, ready for my eye look. I'm going to be doing this on both sides, so I'm just going to speed this up and just make sure that it's nice and smooth and ready for me to start doing my eye look. So I'm aware that I usually do one eye at a time. I usually come on camera with one eye done, and then I usually do the rest of my face on camera, but I'm just switching it up at the moment, seeing what's easier for me filming wise. So I'm doing both eyes at the same time today, which is why this tutorial is slightly longer, but I don't feel like it's any harder to watch. But let me know what you guys think down below, because obviously I would like to know what you prefer. I'm just taking this beauty blender and I'm just pressing it over the top just to really melt it into the skin, and also to make sure that it's not too wet either, because we don't want it to be like really sticky and wet, because we're not doing like the maddest eye look today. It's going to be really simple, so I don't need it to pick up colour the same way that I would as if I was doing like a really bright eye look. So the palette we're using today is the Sylvia Garni palette with BH Cosmetics. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but Jesus, this palette, oh my god. The shades in this palette were screaming at me from the Beauty Bay page. Honestly, I had to get this palette. I'm so excited to be using it. So the first shade that I'm taking is this shade S Club. I'm just dipping into this with a 227 from Zoeva, and I'm just going to start pressing that into my lids. So I'm keeping it fairly low down. I'm not taking it up too high. and I'm just kind of keeping it below the crease at the moment. And as you can see, I'm kind of blending it as I go, so I'm patting and blending, because like I said, this eye look's not going to be crazy. It's only a few colours that I'm going to be using, so I just want to make sure that it's all perfectly blended. So I'm just using circular motions with this 227 to make sure that it's all blended, and I'm bringing it slightly upwards towards the crease, but I'm still trying not to take it too high. And then we're repeating that on the other eye. Obviously I'm going to speed this up because I don't want to bore any of you. You guys get the deal. It's just blend, 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 keep blending, add a bit more colour and keep blending. And then when I'm happy with that, I'm coming in with the shade October. This is a slightly darker, like orangey brown, and I'm using a Morphe B12 to dip into this. And I'm just going to start working that around my crease. I don't know why this bit's out of focus. I'm really, really sorry, but it kind of sorts itself out in a second. So I'm just pressing that darker colour up and around my crease, and then I'm using the 227 to come in and just kind of blend that into the other colour, so the first colour that we initially applied. So I'm just going back and forth with that, just making sure that that's blended well. So you can see it kind of gives like an extra dimension to the look, just kind of like darkens it and just makes it seem a bit more full, if that makes sense. It kind of puts like a bit of shading in there and it just makes it look a little bit more complete, even though it isn't complete yet. So I'm doing that on the other side. Just keep blending and doing the exact same thing on both eyes so that you can make them look as similar as possible. I think that's my main problem with eyes, is that I do one, I'm like, yes, this is going to be sick, and then I spend so much time on the one eye that when I get to film in the second eye, I just give up, and I'm just like, do you know what? I don't fucking care. This eye looks good. But that's something that I really am working on, is to try and make sure that my eyes always match up. And then I'm taking this NYX Cosmetics vinyl liner, which is in the shade black, and I'm using this for a winged liner. So I'm literally just doing my thing with the winged liner. I appreciate as well that I'm so shitty at staying in the frame when I do my liner, but it's just pure concentration. I promise I'm trying so hard to improve my filming quality, and you guys are just gonna have to bear with me, because this YouTube thing, like, I didn't plan for this. This kind of just happened when I became ill, and it's something that I am slowly learning to do in better ways, and I'm slowly picking up tips and finding ways to make it look better for you guys. So just bear with me. I promise I'm trying so hard. I'm just still working it out. So with this wing, it's kind of like a feline flick, but I'm doing the classic Niah liner in the sense that it's gonna be straight as fuck. Like, honestly, if it doesn't cut like a knife, we do not want that liner. We do not want it. The liner has to be a weapon. It has to be that sharp, okay? So I'm literally just making sure that that is nice and straight and nice and sharp, just filling that in and going over it until I'm happy with the lines. Like I say, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to the lines with liner, and I do try and make it as neat and as smooth as possible. So you guys don't have to do that, but that is just my personal preference, so just do your thing. And then I'm coming in with this shade Unapologetic, which is just a black shade, which I'm going to press over the liner, and it's just going to mattify the liner. So it's going to firstly set it in place, and then secondly it's going to take away that shiny feel. Like, I really don't like that. I like a matte liner, okay? Like, I don't want no shiny streak of liner on my face. Like, I want it matte. So I'm moving on to the other eye, making sure that that liner is matching up with the first eye, and then I'm going to do exactly the same thing for this eye. So I'm going to speed it up so that you don't get bored, and then I will show you what lashes I'm going to be moving on to use. I'm using the Violet Voss lashes in the style Fire and Eyes. I've never used these before, but I really honestly have wanted to use them for the longest time. I think they're so nice. I love the style and the way that they kind of like crisscross, because it just makes them look so wispy and so full. So I'm just literally taking House of Lashes glue, letting that dry down a bit, and then getting those stuck onto my eyes. So I'm just getting the placement right here, just making sure that I'm sticking it down in the middle, and then I'm going to come back in with my tweezers, stick it on the outer corner, and then stick it on the inner corner as well, which I'm then going to do the exact same for the other eye. And then once they're both stuck on, I'm going to go along them both and just kind of pinch my lashes and the false lashes together with the tweezers, just to make sure that they're kind of like stuck together and like really blended. I'm taking this Maybelline Colossal Volume Express Mascara in the shade Black. I'm literally just going to go over my own lashes and these false lashes with this mascara, just to make sure that again it's nicely blended together and there's no like white bits from the glue showing. So yeah, I'm just making sure those are nicely coated. And then for foundation, I'm taking the Cover Effect Power Play foundation in the shade G plus 50. Alyssa Ashley made me buy it, okay? Like, I have been so into Alyssa Ashley recently. I don't know if you guys subscribe to her, but you need to if you do not. But basically I saw this foundation on her channel and I was sold on it. It looked amazing on her skin. Can't lie, doesn't quite look the same on mine, but we're not going to be mad at that. And you can just see that I'm buffing this in with my Zoeva 106, which is just a foundation buffing brush, and I'm just using some circular motions just to get that blended into my face and making sure that it looks nice and even, or as even coverage as I can get it to be. But for my forehead area, don't be afraid to come in with a sponge, because it's a bit easier to just work your way around your eyebrows and stuff. Like, the brush is a bit big and bulky, so yeah, definitely don't be afraid to grab a beauty blender and just kind of like neaten it up and get right into those corners. Then I'm taking this MAC Studio Fix concealer, which is in the shade NC38. This is the one that I used as a base, but I'm just using it to highlight my under eyes. So it's not as bright as I would usually go for, but I think that's okay. I like the shade of this, and I think it goes well with this foundation as well. So I'm just drawing that under my eyes, getting a bit on my laugh lines as well. Just striping some over my forehead and also bringing the tiniest bit down the bridge of my nose as well. Taking some on my cupid's bow and my chin, and then I'm using the beauty blender just to buff it all out and make sure that it's all perfectly blended. I haven't mentioned it for a while, but let's not forget that I can't use a wet beauty blender because of my skin condition. The makeup itself doesn't bother my skin as I put it on. Like I said earlier, I think it's because of the fact that it's not just pure water, and I tend to stay away from products that do contain a lot, and I mean like mostly water. So it does always take me a little bit longer to blend out my concealer, but I'm okay with that just because of the fact that my sponge always has to be dry. But obviously for you guys it should be a little bit easier, and it should be a little bit more flawless as well, because you just can't get the same finish from a dry beauty blender. It's just not possible. And then to contour, I'm taking this LA Girl Pro Conceal concealer. This is in the shade Espresso. I'm using this to contour my cheeks. So this is like the YouTube OG, right? Like, I'm pretty sure this has been around forever. The cheapest contour ever, but so effective. So I've got it on my chin, down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, and on my cheekbones. And I'm just using this cream contour brush by Zoeva, and I'm just buffing that in around my jaw just to make sure that it's nicely blended. And I'm coming in with a sponge as well, just to make sure that it's really, really well blended. And then, as you can see, I'm repeating that on my cheekbones, and then I'm going to be doing that around my entire face, but just switching between this brush and a sponge. before we come in and do my nose, I'm just taking some concealer under my cheekbones just to kind of chisel out where I've contoured my cheeks. And then whilst I let that sit, I'm going to come in with this G30 brush by Morphe, and I'm just going to use that to contour my nose. I like this because it's a really straight brush. It's like a really straight line, so it's kind of easy to follow the line that you want to use to contour your nose. So I'm just going in on this. Like, it's going to take a while to get it blended and looking nice, but that is just contouring, to be honest. So just keep at it and just keep going until you feel like you have got the finish that you want. So I'm just using, like I say, a combination of the sponges and the brushes. And I'm just popping a little stripe of concealer there just to redefine the bridge of my nose. Then I'm grabbing this Beauty Bakery flour powder in the shade Banana, which I'm going to use to set my face. This is one of my absolute favourites. So I'm pressing this under my eye just to make sure that that's nice and set and that there's no creases. And I'm doing that on the other side as well. And then I'm just grabbing this Art Deco powder puff, which I'm just going to be literally smacking myself around the face with, just making sure that my whole face is set in place, just avoiding my nose. And then I'm coming in with a different beauty blender just to blend that concealer on the bridge of my nose, just to make sure that that is nicely defined again. And then I'm coming back in with the powder puff, just making sure that that's set also. Then I'm taking this Revolution Pro 4K blush palette in the shade Mauve. I'm taking the top left shade, which is kind of like the lightest, most subtle shade of the palette, and I'm just brushing that over the apples of my cheeks. And then to highlight, I'm dipping into this shade, which is called Opal from the Sylvia Garni palette. Now, I wasn't the happiest with this shade because, as you can see, it's kind of bitty. Like, it comes out in more like blocks of glitter rather than like a highlight shade, and I'm pretty sure that was a highlight shade. Like, I'm pretty sure it was meant to be, but I'm not sure. I might have used it wrong. Let me know down below what you think. But I tried this out as a highlighter and I just really wasn't sure. It was just really difficult to get to look natural. It was just more like I'd stuck bits of glitter on my face, and I was really annoyed by it. It kind of ruined my makeup. Not ruined it, but there's just so many other highlighters that would have complemented this look so well, and it just annoyed me that this kind of just like ruined it. And as you can see, I'm just putting some of the same shade in my inner corner just to kind of like tie it all together. For lips, I'm taking the BH Cosmetics Cashmere Cream liquid lipstick in the shade Roast. I'm taking this Milani Colour Statement liner in the shade Spice. I'm literally just going to go around the outer edges of where I've applied this, just to kind of like neaten it up, make sure that it's all symmetrical and all of that good stuff. And then I'm topping it lastly with this Jouer High Pigment Pearl Gloss in the shade Rose Gold, which I'm just putting in the middle. And as you can see, it's just giving it that nice like metallic shine. I was going to keep these lips matte and nude, but I just thought, you know what, let's go in, let's get a bit of shine in there, okay, because the highlighter let me down. I'm coming in and just putting a little coat of mascara on my bottom lashes just to tie this all together and just to make it look like it's a complete look. And that's it, we're done. That is our daytime look. So 1 second, I will be back with you, and here it is. I feel like you could wear this anywhere. Like, you could wear it to work, you could wear it to the shop even. Like, you'd be the baddest in the shop, but you could wear it to the shop. So make sure that you smash a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye.